Here's what 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 10 says. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 10 says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. Whatever gift. I want you to put those two words right there in the comment section. Whatever gift. Not just the singing, not just the speaking, not just the playing football. Each of you should use whatever gift. And that's for every single person who is listening to the sound of my voice right now. You have received a gift. And it's going to become a little clearer as we go along. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. The grace of God is made visible to us in various forms through the gifts that we have been given. I think a great example of this, one of the greatest examples of this for me is a man called Joseph. Joseph, primarily, he was a caretaker. He was a really mindful man. It seems like he might have been, particularly very good with the details. He was hospitable. He was capable of interpreting dreams. And he finds himself in a prison one day. Finds himself in a prison where there is a woman who he used to work for. He used to work for her husband, Potiphar, and the woman one day wants to get some from Joseph, and then Joseph doesn't want to give her some. And then eventually, she decides to lie and say, he tried to take advantage of me. The husband is angry. The husband has Joseph thrown into prison because why would I let you into my house to come and take advantage of my wife? And so he's now in prison. He now finds himself in prison. And while he's in prison, something very interesting happens. I want to read us a couple of passages over here. I want to read us a couple of passages just to see what it looks like when you steward your gifts at every stage. Every stage. Steward your gifts at every stage. Not just when you are up on top, not just when you are at the highest level, but rather at every stage. This, my friend, is how we unlock favor with God and favor with people. It says in chapter 40 of Genesis chapter 40. Do you have it with you? Say, I do. By the way, you're supposed to have your Bible, and if you don't have your Bible, please go next door and ask them to borrow you a Bible. I'll wait for you. Can you please go next door and ask them to borrow you a Bible? Just so that you can participate here with us. Once you're back, let us know. Let us know when you're back. And please wait. We're waiting. Go next door to go and borrow a Bible. In verse 1 all the way to verse 15. Verse 1 to verse 15 of Genesis chapter 40. Verse 1 to verse 15. Did you ask your neighbors for a Bible? Also, invite them to your house to come and watch the... don't invite anybody to your house at this time. Never mind, I said that. Ignore that. Sometime later, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their master, the king of Egypt. Pharaoh was angry with his two officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and he put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the same prison where Joseph was confined. The captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, and he attended them. He assigned them to Joseph and he attended them. In other words, took care of them. I want you to imagine this. He is in prison taking care of other prisoners, looking out for other prisoners. This is absolutely fascinating, right? And this is why we talk about stewarding your gifts at every level. At this current level, he decides that he will use what he has to take care of the people who are in the same predicament as him. Listen, if I'm in prison and you end up in there with me, oh no, my friend, I'm not taking care of you. No, but now I think I would do it because I read about Joseph, so I would do it. I would actually do it because I don't want you to think I don't learn. I learned. I would do it, but it's a good thing I'm not going to prison. Anyway, it says, after they had been in custody for some time, each of the two men, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were being held in prison, had a dream the same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. When Joseph came to them the next morning, he saw that they were dejected. So he asked Pharaoh's officials, who were in custody with him in his master's house, "Why do you look so sad today?" "We both had dreams," they answered, "but there is no one to interpret them." Then Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." So the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. He said to him, "In my dream I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and took the cup and put the cup in his hand." "This is what it means," Joseph said. "The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do when you were his cupbearer." Now, I want you to get this before I read the rest of this. Joseph sees a man who needs an interpretation for his dream. Joseph has a gift of interpreting dreams, but you know how Joseph perceives his gift? He says this gift belongs to God. That's what he says. He says this belongs to God. It is God who is capable of interpreting dreams. Interpretations belong to him. And I am just a vessel. And so when they need help, he freely gives them the interpretation. He freely serves them. He freely helps them out. Because he realizes where this gift comes from. He's aware of it. And then he goes on to help the first man interpret his dreams, or rather his dream. And then verse 14, after helping the man, listen to this again, after helping the man, after serving the man. Right there in the comment section, I want you to put there after, and I want you to put it in your notebook as well, because I don't want you to forget this. After. It was after he had served the man, he said, "But when all goes well with you, remember me and show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison." After he served the man, after he helped him out, he says to him, "But listen, man, if you could just do me a favor. When you get out there, please remember me and mention me to Pharaoh. Please remember me and put in a good word for me with Pharaoh so that I can get out of prison. I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here I have done nothing to deserve being put in a dungeon." He says, this is the position that I'm in right now. And I know that you are in a position where you can help me. Why? Because I just helped you. My friend, listen to me. If you will be faithful with your gift where you are, you will be amazed at how many doors it will open for you because you give it freely. You remember the first day of our series, we spoke about the power of a gift. We spoke about the power of a gift. If you will be generous with the gifts that have been entrusted to you, if you can speak words that build people up, if you are hospitable, then show hospitality wherever you go. You hear what I'm saying? If you can sing songs that lift people up. If you can organize, I don't know, go organize somewhere. But listen, here's the point. Every single gift that has been entrusted to you has a use that can serve someone else. It has a use that can serve someone else. You say, wait again, every time I wake up, people just want to talk to me. People just want to talk to me with their problems. People just want to bring their problems to me. There's something special about you. There is something powerful about what you carry. Allow them. Right? Allow them. So Joseph, at this level, he uses his gift in prison. Now, let's go a couple of years later, and more specifically, 2 years later. 2 years later, because the man would go on to forget Joseph, right? So there were two men in the prison with Joseph. One of them had a dream. The dream meant, you know what, in 3 days you will be restored back to your position. You will leave this prison and you'll go back to doing your job. Everything will work out for you. And the other one, when he heard that this one got that interpretation for his dream, he said, "Hey man," he said, do me next. Please interpret my dream. And Joseph said, your dream means you're gonna die. Yours means you're gonna die. You're not gonna make it. 3 days from now, you're gone. You know. And 2 years after that passes, and now Joseph's gift is in demand. I want you to see this. Joseph's gift is needed. We find this in chapter 41. The following chapter, chapter 41. Chapter 41. So Pharaoh has a dream, right? Pharaoh has a very bad dream. He wakes up in the morning. He tries to get somebody to interpret the dream. Nobody can interpret the dream for him. No one. He gets all the wise men. He gets the magicians. He gets the astrologers. He gets all of them, the Sagittarians, and he gets everybody. He says, what is the meaning of this dream? And nobody could interpret the dream for him. And then in verse 9, it says, then the chief cupbearer said to Pharaoh, today I am reminded of my shortcomings. We're going to read this all the way to verse 16. We're going to read this all the way to verse 16. He says, today I am reminded of my shortcomings. Pharaoh was once angry with his servants, and he imprisoned me and the chief baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Each of us had a dream the same night, and each dream had a meaning of its own. Now a young Hebrew was there with us, a servant of the captain of the guard. We told him our dreams, and he interpreted them for us, giving each man the interpretation of his dream. And things turned out exactly as he interpreted them, as he interpreted them to us. I was restored to my position, and the other man was impaled. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. Pharaoh called for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon. Right there in the comment section, I want you to put the word quickly, and I want you to put this word quickly in your notebook. Right there in your notebook, I want you to put this word quickly. He was brought up quickly from the dungeon. This is what I mean when I say, listen, when people assume that success is overnight, I want you to understand they are absolutely correct. They are absolutely correct. Because the truth is, for 2 years while he was in prison, nothing was happening. Nothing was happening for 2 years while he was in prison. And so it's not like he was taking a few steps out of prison, a few steps out of prison, a few steps out of prison. Listen, one night he was in prison. The following night he was in royalty. One day, let's take it a step further. In the morning, he woke up in prison. In the afternoon, he was the most powerful man in Egypt. That's how quickly life can change. That is how quickly God can work. That is how it happens, my friend. So he woke up in prison. And he didn't know, he had no idea that the person he helped 2 years ago had just mentioned his name. The person he served 2 years ago had just mentioned his name. Some of us are mad at people for the fact that they haven't mentioned you. It's been 4 days. Maybe the time is not right. I'm just suggesting that to you, that maybe the time is not right. Maybe if they mentioned your name right now, it wouldn't be that significant. Wouldn't make that much of a difference. Right? Listen, some of us are mad. Yo, and this guy, yeah, everything. Now never again. And I paid for the lunch. 2 years later, his name is mentioned, and he is brought up from the dungeon. He is placed in front of the king. 2 years ago, he was willing to serve. Listen, just the fact that he was willing to serve at that level qualified him for the next level. My friend, if you are too good to serve where you are right now, you are not good enough to serve at the next level. Wow, Poloko, say it again. Listen, if you are too good to serve where you are right now, you are not good enough to serve at the next level. Forget. You don't qualify for that. If right now you feel like you are too good to serve the people that have been entrusted to you right now, if you feel like you are too good to serve at the level that you are right now, if you feel like you are too good to serve with excellence right now, if you feel like they don't deserve my gifts, not that you don't deserve my gifts, I'm saving my gifts because your gifts are gonna run out, I guess. What do we say? What do we mean? If you are too good to serve where you are right now, you are not good enough to serve at the next level. Yeah. Nah, the kids say I clocked your tea. You've been feeling like you are too good for this level. You've been feeling like you are too good for them. They don't deserve you. They don't deserve your gift. They don't deserve somebody like you. You are holding back until you can have someone, an opportunity that is worth your gifts. How do you think that's going to happen? Exactly how do you think that's going to happen? Logically, when we break it down right now, let me give you a very, very simple example. Let me give you a very, very, very simple example. There's a young man called Poloko. Poloko Magolane, he grew up in the village of Tlatlaganyane on the outskirts of Rustenburg. And throughout his life, he's been trying to make something of himself. And then one day his friends see him, after fast forwarding a couple of years, his friends see him standing in front of the members of parliament and teaching them about public speaking and debate at the Parliament of South Africa. How do you think that happened? What if I told you that it happened from this live stream? That's so good. What if I told you that it happened from this live stream? What if I told you that it was somebody who was watching? Listen, right now there's 1,400 people in here. There wasn't 1,400 people at the time. There were 70 people, 90 people, 100 people. And you show up and you serve with excellence and you give the best of yourself. And one of you wonderful people who know very important people in important positions are watching every single day and saying, "Ah, man, we need to get this one in here." And the first time I go there, you know what the man who called me says? He said, I have been begging them to get you in here. I have been pushing for this to happen. What, you are contending for me to come here? Absolutely. Listen, here's what I'm saying to you. I don't want you to miss what's happening here. You don't get to the next level if you feel like you need to hide your gifts until you are at the next level. You don't hide your gifts until you're at the next level. You won't get there. You will not get there. You hear what I'm saying? The only way your gift is of any value to you or to anybody else is if you use it. A gift is only as valuable as it is useful. If it is not being used, then it doesn't matter. If it is not being used, then forget. Forget if it is not being used. It doesn't matter how talented you are. And you can get frustrated at people. You will become one of those people who are just mad at everybody around you because, no, they're not even as good as me. They're not even as good as me. Me, I can do it like this. And that'll be your whole life. That will be your whole life, upset and angry at people who are using what God has given to them. You hear what I'm saying? Joseph ends up in front of the king. He is brought up quickly. Let me go back to that again. Let me go back to that again so I can read it for you. He is brought up quickly. It says, so Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought up from the dungeon. When he had shaved and changed his clothes, he came before Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I had a dream, and no one can interpret it. But I have heard it said I had heard it said that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it. That's what I heard. I heard about you. They told me about you. But you know what it is? We can't tell anybody about you because you are not willing to serve anybody. No one can tell anybody about you if they have never seen anything from you. If you have never served them in any kind of way, they won't have a reason to tell anybody about you. And sometimes it might even be negative, right? Sometimes it might even be negative because, save your money, my sister. Save your money. Don't go there. Don't go there. Joseph, in prison, he uses his gift. And then after using his gift, he says, when you get there, please remember me. Mention my name. And 2 years later, a seed that he planted it blossoms. It blossoms. It's fruit out of a seed that he planted 2 years ago. Can I tell you something? When we talk about this idea of unlocking favor with people, most of us are trying to make withdrawals where we have never deposited anything. Most of us are frustrated because we are trying to make withdrawals where we have never deposited. Just frustrated that nobody is putting in a good word for you. No one is doing anything for you. You hear what I'm saying? Trying to just get. And I've said this before. That when you pray that God will send you people who will come and help you, you are to pray that God will open your eyes to how it is that you can help the people around you. You are to pray that God will open your eyes so that you will know where you need to be serving, where you need to be helping, where you need to be giving, where you need to be generous. My friend, listen to me. And I know that some of these things sound so simple that now it's starting to sound like it's just transactional. But can I tell you something? There are certain people who right now, if they called me and they said they needed me for anything, I would show up for them. And I wouldn't even try to say, but how much did you do for me last time? It wouldn't even matter. I would show up for them. Why? Because there was a time when they showed up when I was in need. Or to take it a step further, there are certain people that, you see, listen, let me give you an example. I'll give you a very simple example. Do you know that right now, if you called me right now and you said to me, oh, once again, I've got a little function here in Cape Town, and I've been looking for somebody who can bake my stuff. I've been looking for somebody who can bake my scones because, we just need some scones. Do you know that I would immediately say to you, I know a lady called Yolanda who bakes scones, and her scones are good. Network? Whose network? Are we good? Is the network good? I told you guys I need confirmation from everybody. If people are saying that the network is bad, I need somebody to just confirm that it's not as bad. We're good. Yours. I didn't say yours. Okay, we're good. But listen. I'm trying to show you something very practical here. I'm trying to show you something very, very practical. If you called me right now, you said, I'm in Cape Town, I need somebody who can bake some scones for me, and you said, I need somebody I can rely on, somebody who is good. I would say to you, there's a lady called Yolanda who I know. I can give you her number right now. She will do an excellent job for you. Do you know why? Because I've met her one time, and the one time that I met her, she showed up with boxes of scones and cupcakes and biscuits. She said, I couldn't do anything, but I just wanted to give you this. I just wanted to give you this. I want you to see something really powerful about how this works. Because sometimes we miss the profound because it sounds simple. It sounds so simple that we miss it. And this is not something, I'm not talking about something that is so far-fetched. It is something that literally could happen right now. It is something that could happen tomorrow. Right? It is something that could happen tomorrow. When I get off of here, there could be somebody who calls me and says, I'm trying to get some scones for 5,000 people. And say, no, we're good. I've got you. Because the one time I met her, remember I told you, one time I met her, she showed up and shared her gift with me. shared her gift with me the one time that we met. Are you catching what I'm trying to get across to you? Are you catching what I'm saying? Now we know it's Yolanda's voice. Yes, it is. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought up from the dungeon. Quickly, life changed. And it was unlocked by using the gift back then in prison. What would it look like for you? What would it look like for you at this level, where you are right now, to use your gifts more generously? To be a lot more resourceful with your gifts. Listen, you're never going to run out of your gift. If you have the gift, listen, I show up here every day and I serve you as generously as I do because I'm not going to run out of words. I'm not going to run out of words. Like, it's not like I've got, 1,000 words, like that Eddie Murphy movie where he had 1,000 words. I don't know how I saw that because as a man of God, I don't watch movies. But it's not like I'm gonna run out of words. That's not what's gonna happen. So I'm generous with this gift. I'm generous with it. And somebody says, no, but to bake you need flour. I also need data. I need data also. So there's no excuse behind this, right? There's really no excuse. What gift do you have and how can you use it? How can you use it to serve other people? I want you to think about it right now. Right? Let's go over to the book. Let's go over to the book, and we don't have a lot of time, so I'm not gonna stop too many times. But I want us to go through it, although we've laid a good foundation for it, right? We've laid a good foundation for it. That's in page 104 for those of you who have a copy of Unlocking Favor with God and People. Those of you who have a copy of Unlocking Favor with God and People, that's page 104. 104. Share the book cover. The book cover is this one right here. The book cover is this one right here. Unlocking Favor with God and People. It's only available on our website. So if you go looking for it on Take-A-Lot, you'll be very frustrated. I'm very sorry about that. It's only available on our website. The link is on my bio. Listen, every person has been entrusted with gifts. Oh my goodness. See, when I start reading the book, it gets hot. I'm so sorry. When I start reading the book, it gets hot, and I need to... It was hot the whole time, but I think it just works for me to say it's when I start reading the book, just so that I can, tell you that the book has Holy Ghost fire. Yeah. Okay, listen. Every person has been entrusted with gifts, talents, and abilities by God. Some may seem obvious, like preaching, singing, teaching, or writing. Others subtle, like problem solving, encouragement, discernment, or the ability to bring calm into chaotic situations. Right? Just the fact that when you step in, the room is hot, they say, no, and then everybody calms down. Gifts are not always glamorous, but they are always necessary. Gifts are not always glamorous, but they are always necessary. The question isn't whether you're gifted. The question is, are you stewarding the gift well at the level you're at right now? And I think that's very important, right? You need to, and don't ask me what your gift is. Please don't ask me what your gift is, because then we'll need somebody to calm me down. You can't ask me what your gift is. I don't know you. I don't know you. What I'm saying to you is, if you are at a place where you are confused, where you are uncertain, you might need to go and have a time of introspection. Be willing to do the work. Be willing to do that searching, right? Go do that searching for yourself. Go sit with yourself and allow yourself to just find that out. But there is a gift. So the question isn't whether you are gifted. That's not the question. You can't tell me that you have no abilities. That's ridiculous. You can't say you have no abilities. You can't say that there is nothing about you. You are just existing. And I often have people say this to me simply because they can't speak as well as I do. And I was like, when I at least want a talent, nah, I don't have a talent. Listen, when you leave here tonight, what I want you to do is I want you to leave from here saying, today I'm going to show you my talent. That should be all of us here moving forward, right? Your whole life should just be, today I'm going to show you my talent. Every day, everywhere you go. Because you just want to serve. That's what you want. You just want to share that talent with the world. So you need to figure it out. The question is, are you stewarding the gift well at the level you're at right now? Are you stewarding the gift well at the level you're at right now? The parable of the three servants, again, because we went through this, we've already went through this, but let's revisit the parable in Matthew 25 for a moment. Each servant was given talents, which is money, according to their ability. Two of them immediately went to work. They used what they had, multiplied it, and were praised as faithful with a few things. Then the master then said, I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. That's in Matthew 25, verse 23. Notice the order. Notice the order. First, they stewarded their gift at their current level. First, they stewarded their gift at their current level. So at this current level, I use the gift. Secondly, they were trusted with more. They were trusted with more. And third, then they entered a greater level of joy, favor, and reward. They entered a greater level of joy, favor, and reward. The one who buried his gift, he called the master harsh. He made excuses and did nothing with what he was given. He said the master was harsh. He made excuses and he did nothing with what he was given. The result, his gift was taken and given to the one who had the most. This principle is sobering. What you don't use, you'll lose. But what you use faithfully, God will multiply. Let me say that again. What you don't use, you'll lose. But what you use faithfully, God will multiply. Stages don't change stewardship. They reveal it. And this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part. Listen properly. Stages don't change stewardship. They reveal it. Many people think they'll be more faithful later when they have more time, more money, more recognition. But that's not how it works. The way you manage small platforms is the greatest indicator of how you'll handle bigger ones. That is the greatest indicator of how you'll handle bigger ones. David was anointed king. But where did he prove his faithfulness? Listen to this. David was anointed king. We remember that. The king of Israel, one of the greatest kings that ever lived. But where did he prove his faithfulness? Was it in the palace? No. In the field, serving sheep, playing the harp, and running errands for his father. It was his faithfulness behind the scenes that positioned him for public favor. It was his faithfulness behind the scenes that positioned him for public favor. In fact, it was while he was serving lunch to his brothers in the battlefield that he was introduced to his greatest breakthrough, Goliath. I want you to think about that. David got his biggest breakthrough, the biggest breakthrough of his life, the biggest opportunity of his life, which was Goliath. It came to him while he was on his way to just take lunch to his brothers. He was just there. Dad said, take lunch to your brothers. He was on his way to take lunch to his brothers. That is it. That's how he was introduced to his greatest opportunity. What if the key to your next open door is hidden in how you're serving in your current season? What if the key to your next open door is hidden in how you're serving in your current season? Right now, where you are. Where you are. Could it be, and I'm just asking, could it be that the way you handle your affairs right now is the reason why doors are closing? Could it be that doors are closing simply because you haven't proven yourself? And once again, we're talking about practical stuff. We are talking about practical stuff. We are talking about you this one day saying, my season here at whatever company you work at, my season here has come to an end. And when you say it's time to go, the employer who employed you while you were there says, listen, I know somebody else who is at the company that you want to work for, and he would be happy to have you because they have been looking for somebody with your skill set. I'm sad to see you go, but I never want to see you lose because you are an incredible person. No, I've never met anybody like you. Some of us, doors are closing because of us, because of how we steward this current level, because of how we handle this current level. For a lot of us, doors are closing. People are standing on the other side and they are holding on to that hand. I heard about you. You can't come in here. Yeah. You want to bring that same stuff over here? No. That can't be. How can I? Listen, what if the key to your next open door is hidden in how you're serving in your current season? Gifts are for others, but stewardship is for you. Gifts are for others, but stewardship is for you. Here's what that means. Your gifts will bless others. Your gifts will bless others. See, what I'm doing right now, using my gift in the way that I'm using it is not for me, it's for you. Right? This gift is used to bless others. But how you manage those gifts, that's what unlocks favor for you. How you manage those gifts, that is what unlocks favor for you. Let's go deeper. If you sharpen your skills, work with excellence, and show up consistently, even when no one is watching, you send a signal to both heaven and earth. I'm ready for more. I am ready for more. Proverbs 22 verse 29. Proverbs 22 verse 29. One of my favorite verses in the Bible. Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will serve before kings. It goes on to say they will not serve before mediocre people. It's not favoritism. It's favor. And favor follows faithful stewardship. Favor follows faithful stewardship. It's not, now I'm just so done. I'm just so done. No. Favor follows faithful stewardship. And what I want to happen here for you and I is that we need to get to a point where we rewire our minds so that when I say this, your mind, I hope I don't bite the table. Your mind should not automatically go to, no, but you don't know what they do, these people. You don't know what they do, these people. Your mind should not go to the worst of the worst. So just because there are some people who have misused their power, misused their resources, misused the fact that they were the ones holding the key, just because that has happened does not change the principle. It doesn't change the principle. So yes, there's Pete Pampoon who went and took his boy straight out of high school and gave him the position that you have been hoping you would be promoted to, and it's fine. Your dad didn't build a company. It was his dad that built the company. It's fine. Some things we just accept and we move on, but it doesn't change principles. It doesn't change principles. You get what I'm saying? So we should avoid being these people who, just because your friend was hurt by her husband, all of a sudden, marriage, I don't know. So what? It was your friend. It was her situation, and that's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate, but it does not change the principle. It doesn't. You hear what I'm saying? It's not favoritism. It's favor. And favor follows faithful stewardship. Favor follows faithful stewardship. Let's get into our reflection and a challenge for the day. Let's get into our reflection questions and then challenge for the day. I'm gonna say this before I start. And if I say this, I know you're gonna say I'm spicy. Please write these, please listen carefully and write these down. Please listen carefully and write these down if you want to write them down. I don't have time to repeat because my gift is gonna run out. What if my gift runs out? I'm gonna be slow. I'm gonna try to be slow. Write these down. Here's our reflection questions for the day. Number one. What gift or skill have I neglected or buried because I thought it wasn't big enough? What gift or skill have I neglected or buried because I thought it wasn't big enough? Like I said, for some of us, it's things that don't give us notoriety. It's things that don't put us on the public platform. And because it doesn't put us on a public platform, it's not speaking, it's not singing, it's not dancing, it's not writing, we neglect it. What gift have you neglected or buried simply because you thought it wasn't a serious gift? You know, it wasn't a serious gift. When all you know how to do is math. You just do math. Math numbers come easy to you. They never come in the form of money. They're just everything else. All these other numbers. What is it? Number two. How can I better serve others with the gifts I've already been given? How can I better serve others with the gifts I've already been given? Okay, let me put it this way. How can I use what I've been given to just improve the way I serve other people? So, how can I better serve others with the gifts I've already been given? Number 3, what can I do today to steward my current season with excellence? What can I do today to steward my current season with excellence? In other words, in the season that I'm in right now, how can I be more like Joseph, who served in such a way that 2 years later he was remembered? He interpreted one dream and he was remembered 2 years later. So how can you do that in the season that you are in right now? Okay, let me put it to you this way. If I had one encounter with you, would it be enough for me to go and tell the whole world about you? If I had one encounter with you, would it be enough for me to never forget your impact, for me to never forget who you are? I'm not talking about the whole world. If we just met one-on-one, spent 30 minutes together, would it be enough? Something to think about, right? Something to think about. And then here's a challenge for us as we close off today's session. Here's a challenge for you. Pick one gift. Pick one gift, skill, or area of responsibility in your life. I want you to think about that. Just one gift, skill, or just an area of responsibility in your life right now. I want you to think about it. Spend 30 minutes this week sharpening or using it intentionally. Sharpen or use it intentionally. Not so long ago, I had a conversation with Teddy Moho. You guys must have seen him in the comment section. He gets in here to check in. I don't know if he goes on to sleep after that, but you know, I had a conversation with him and I said to him, every single day, I want you to spend 20 minutes practicing your communication. You say you want to be a good speaker. You say you want to be a speaker. At least 20 minutes, the beginning of every day. Just spend 20 minutes with it. Right? So, spend 30 minutes this week sharpening or using your gift intentionally. Make a habit of stewarding it well, even if nobody claps. Even if nobody claps for you, make a habit. And I want you to note that habit, not just a one-time thing, but make a habit of stewarding your gift well. Let it be a habit that wherever you show up, wherever you go, you use your gift well to serve people, to make a difference, to add value. Not just as a one-time thing, not just as something that you do this week to try and get a promotion, but whether there is a promotion, whether there is an opportunity, whether you can see what's next, it's just your habit. You just use what you have and you use it well. Even if nobody's watching. Even if nobody is clapping or celebrating you. Use your gift well. Are we good? Right there in the comment section, if you are in agreement, I want you to say amen. I want to see 1,000 amens in the comment section. 1,000 amens, because I know 200 of you are sleeping right now. So 1,000 amens right there in the comment section.